prelim predictions. So on the last event, we went 5-2 on tips, pre-fight tips to members, and we went 6-3 on tipped live bets to members. So if you want to join, as I say, silver membership is £15 per month, gold membership is £25. This card is heavy on the live betting, I think, compared to other ones, but yeah. So if you're interested, just fire me across a DM on Twitter. Yeah, so we got up, well, I personally got up 31.5 units on Whittaker versus Tilcard, so it was a good night for me. But alright, so we'll break down these prelims for Vegas 5. Alright, so Chris Gutierrez versus Cody Durden. Chris Gutierrez minus $300 favourite here. No surprise really. It's hard to find tape on Durden. Couldn't find much myself. Some of his fights are locked behind a paywall, so I wasn't going to pay. But yeah, Chris Gutierrez looked pretty good in his last fight against Vince Morales. You know, he was constantly attacking that lead leg of Morales, which I expect him to go back to in the Durden fight on Saturday, because he just has vicious leg kicks. He doesn't really have that good of boxing, but his kicking game is very strong for Chris Gutierrez. Yeah, he's currently riding a 3-fight win streak. He's coming against Durden, who is coming in on, I think it's 10 days notice, because Gutierrez originally meant to fight Luke Saunders, and I tipped the bet out, like a 3-unit bet for Gutierrez versus Saunders at 1.64 odds, so about minus 160. And yeah, Saunders pulled out, but Durden fills in. Yeah, so I've seen some of Durden. I watched some of him. I wasn't really impressed, to be honest, but I've heard in his fights that are behind paywalls and stuff, he's an aggressive wrestler and stuff. You know, he's going to be fighting this fight at featherweight. He's originally a bantamweight, so it'll be interesting. But to be honest, I just don't think Durden is on the level that Gutierrez is, and I think it's just going to be an easy night at the office for Gutierrez. I mean, 2 years ago, Durden got finished by Ryan Hollis, who had a 12-13 record at the time. That's not a good look. I seen one of his kickboxing fights. You know, he seemed to get his lead leg pretty beat up in that fight. He was like standing pretty heavy on it, so I mean that is something to watch out for against Gutierrez. Could we have another leg kick TKO? Because his calf kicks are just some of the best in the featherweight division. But yeah, I've got Gutierrez by, I'm gonna say TKO in this one. So it says this fight's at bantamweight, but I'm not sure about that. Maybe it is, but well, whatever. I thought Gutierrez would be staying back up at 145, but yeah, yeah, I can't find enough on Durden to make me want to bet against them. But I think it's going to be an easy night at the office for Gutierrez. So I've got Gutierrez by TKO on that one. Jamall Emmers versus Timur Valiev. I guess one's an interesting fight. I think it's closer than the boogies are suggesting. We've got Emmers 6-4 underdog right now, but I think Emmers can make us pretty hard fight for Valiev, because Emmers is weird. He has a very good wrestling game, but he doesn't use it too much. And I actually thought he won against Giga Chikadze in that fight when I rewatched it. 41 rounds 2 and 3, and he should have got the decision, but it is what it is. But it shows his striking has came out. His striking's, it is UFC level. I mean, he's out striking Chikadze, so he is for the majority of 15 minutes. But his wrestling's his main game, but his striking has came along too. He's very big for the division. 5'10", 74-inch reach. That's pretty big. And Valiev is small. He should be fighting a bantamweight. But I think Valiev is slick on the feet. He's fighting out of Dagestan. Trains at Jackson Wink. But when I watched this Costa fight, GFC's 22, I think Valiev looked pretty bad with it. It didn't really, he was very low output. He didn't impress me on the feet or anything. I mean, I didn't really know what to look out for when I was watching this fight. I watched some of his other fights. I mean, he looked better previously, but I'm not sure what it was. But in his most recent performance, he didn't really look that good. Versus Emmers, who did look very good in his last fight against Chikadze. He showed his cardio's there. He showed that he can hang around with these very good stand-up fighters. I think this should be a closer fight than the bookies are suggesting. Valiev, yeah, he's his odds have actually got better in the past few days, which I'm not surprised about, to be honest, because he was at 1-2, but now he's at around 8-13. I'm not surprised, to be honest. What I would like to see from Emmers, if I was to, if I was to bet him more often, is him constantly going for takedowns, just working the takedowns a lot more than he does, because he always leaves it to a minute to go in the round, shoots a takedown, and then it doesn't score that well with the judges. I would like to see him have more judges friendly game plan where he takes him down like one minute in or less, and keeps him there. But he is a good prospect, I think. Emmers, saying that, he is 31, you wouldn't think it though. He has wins over Corey Sandhagen, Jake Cuccinello, Alexander Hernandez. No, I do like Emmers. I just think this is I would personally cap this fight as a pick him. I think Valiev is very good at getting off his back. He has good wrestling get-up game, which I do think can neutralise Emmers' wrestling game maybe, but I just think there's going to be a big size discrepancy in this one, and obviously in Emmers' favour. That I think Valiev's going to find it hard working around. So personally cap is faded by 50-50. The value is obviously on Emmers' side, of course, being a 6-4 dog. I'm going to go with Emmers by decision, but I think this one will be very close, to be honest. I think it's going to be a close decision, so it could go either way, but I've got Emmers in this one by decision. Alright, so next fight is Markus Perez versus Eric Spacely. These are two guys very hard to trust. Markus Perez should win this. I would like him at a better odds range than minus 200, but I see why he's capped at that price, to be honest. He got outstruck against Wellington Turman in his most recent fight. Before that, he choked out Anthony Hernandez, and then he's won and lost a couple since he's came into the UFC. He's just a guy that's a wee bit crazy on the feet. He's a wee bit, he's a wee bit hard to trust with what he does. Don't rate Eric Spacely very much, to be honest. And I think he's quite don't really know how he's got back into the UFC, to be honest. I think he's past past his best days. Don't think he offers much now. I think Perez will have an advantage on the feet here, and with his wild stand up and all that, I think he will cause Spacey problems, who we've seen get finished in 3 out of his last 4 UFC losses and appearances, should I say, actually. These 2 were in CES. These 2 wins against low level competition, should I add. So yeah. I've got Marcus Perez by TKO on this one. I don't like Eric Spacey, and I just find it hard to trust Marcus Perez because you never really know what he's going to bring. He's a wild man on the feet. He may jump into a flying knee and get took down or something against a very high level grappler in Spacey or something. I don't like his fight from betting perspective, so I'm staying away. But yeah, Marcus Perez by TKO on that one. So the 4th fight of the card is Tasmanian Devil against Nathan Maness. Watched some of Nathan Maness's fights today, actually. Wasn't very impressed, to be honest. Didn't see much of what he offered. He is a stand-up fighter. Saying on Topology here, he has a wrestling foundation, but I couldn't see it. I mean, he's getting pieced up by Taylor Labelis on the feet, and he didn't shoot for a takedown. He was very uncomfortable on the feet versus him. He was baiting into a lot of feints. I think this is, and he also should add, he's coming in on 2 weeks' notice in this fight against Ray Borg. He is dropping down a weight division to bantamweight. I just think this is a very hard fight for him in every aspect. Ray Borg's stand-up has got better, reasonably better, and the past year or so. We've seen that in the Ricky Simone fight. That was a very close fight. It did score for Ricky Simone, but Ray Borg actually, he has bricks in his hands, to be honest. His record doesn't show it, but Ricky Simone has a chin, and he could feel the power. So I was kind of striking to me from that fight. He absolutely dominated Rogerio Bontorin on the ground, just constant takedowns. And his last win, and then basically did the same against Gabriel Silva. So his record indicates here that he does have a problem, he does have problems against high level, anti-wrestlers like Demetrius Johnson, Casey Kenny, Ricky Simone. But Nathan Maness isn't an anti-wrestler. He can be took down. He doesn't have the best ground game. This fight is in a small cage in the Apex Center, obviously, so it's going to benefit Ray Borg here, who I just think is going to go in there and just take Maness down over and over, and work his top game, potentially get a finish through submission or something, because he is levels above Maness on the ground. And see, even if Maness does get back up, I think Ray Borg is, he will have I don't know if he has the advantage on the feet, but it's very close. I just didn't see enough from Maness to make me think that he's a high level striker. I would say he's mediocre at best. And, Ray Borg can definitely, if he chooses to, probably outpoint him on the feet. Though he will be against a very high reach disadvantage here against Joseph Maness. About 8 inches, I think. Let me check. Ray Borg's is 63, so it's 9 inches. Ray Borg's at a reach disadvantage, but I don't think it'll matter on this. I just think Ray Borg's going to take him down. Workers' wrestling game. Just be ruthless as he is, as he showed in the bantering fight with his ground game. So yeah, Ray Borg, I'm going to say decision, but who knows? There might be a sub in there. So Ed Herman versus Gerald Meerschaert. Just get finished capping this one. I think it's an interesting fight. Ed Herman he's about a 6-4 dog right now. But I think it's a close fight, to be honest. Yeah, so Ed Herman, he got that win over Cadiz Ibrahimov, who was seen get starched recently, but yeah, he got that win, and before that was a win against Patrick Cummins, where he knocked him out in the first round. So there is a lot of fight in this old dog, and he's 39. He's old for the division, but the thing is about these light heavyweights, they can go on into their 40s because they keep the power. So he definitely still has a power. You know, he hasn't showed anything in his cardio game of slowing down. I just think he's very reckless on the feet. You know, he can be hit. Gerald Meerschaert has improved the stand-up quite a bit recently, as he showed against Durden and Eric Anders. I thought he should have won that Eric Anders fight. Where I think Meerschaert can find success in this fight is keeping the fight at range, working the jab, and just punishing Herman with that deadly left body kick that Meerschaert has, that he finished, Eric Spacely with. He hurt the wrong one with it, and he hurt Anders with it. He hurt Anders quite bad at the end of the round with it also, who's very durable. So, and Herman, he has great chin, but especially for his age, but I don't know how much his body is, can withstand damage at this age of his career. But if you look at the stats, let me check on UFC, they're pretty much even. They have a similar output in terms of strikes, and I don't think Meerschaert will be able to take Herman down. But to be honest, I think this fight is much closer than the books are suggesting, especially because Meerschaert is coming in on 2 weeks notice or something. But I guess this should be a pick'em fight, to be honest. Maybe cap Meerschaert in the 4 to 5 range, minus 120, maybe that. Because Meerschaert is also moving up 205 for this fight, where he doesn't really belong. He's a middleweight. He's fought at middleweight his whole career. Yeah. Oh, he actually hasn't. He's fought some of his early days in light heavyweight, but he is a natural middleweight, definitely. But yeah, it's hard to trust Ed Herman, and it's also you never know what you're going to get with Meerschaert, because he's involved in a lot of split decision losses. So is Herman. So I don't know, this is toss up to me. I'm going to give the edge to Meerschaert to win by decision, but it'll be very close. I think this fight's a good one for live betting, to whoever wins the first round, maybe. Alright, next fight is Frankie Saenz versus Jonathan Martinez. Frankie Saenz is 39. That is ancient for bantamweight. Don't know, I just think it's fucked up how he's still fighting after all this time. He's washed to me. I'm gonna keep this one quick. I just think Martinez, even though he does have bad takedown defense, where Frankie Saenz can possibly win this fight, I can just see Martinez keeping this fight at range, working that lead tape as he does, just going to the body and just piecing up Saenz, he seems quite slow at this stage of his career, and his stand-up just isn't on the level of Martinez. So, yeah, official pick for that one is Martinez by KO, I'm going to say. Alright, so thanks everyone. So part 2 will be out within the next couple of days, so keep an eye